Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, or Chakadash. Those are the only and original names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. Yahweh means He is, He exists. Yahweh Shah means He delivers and He saves. Chakadash is the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostles out of Great Millstone, who taught us this 100% truth of the Holy Bible through the Spirit of Yahweh Shah. And these men were regenerated back in the latter times to gather in the hopeful elect out of the nation of Israel that only consists of the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latinos, and the so-called natives. That's all for your father's bloodlines. Shalom, my dear, to the brothers that teach, preach, and prophesy through the Spirit of Yahweh Shah. And shalom, my dear, to the brothers and sisters that scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. That's part of this 100% ministry. May the Lord continue to add peace upon you. This is Nawala coming back at you again, hopefully with another edifying lesson through the Spirit of Yahweh Shah. Secret disciples. Okay? There's many members that form the body of Yahweh Shah, the Spirit of truth, that make up the elect, the ones that came on this side of the earth. This last generation right here, and throughout generations, but this last generation that repented and brick by brick is building the temple of the Most High, right? We're speaking of these members. It's different members, different branches, right? And you have a particular one that's not spoken of as much, but it's the secret disciples. Right? And secret means what it means. Okay, to be hidden. Right? So it's a lot of times we come across brothers that, and when we say secret, we're not speaking of those that are on the mic right now, you know, that's on the YouTube and all these other streamlines giving out the 100% ministry. Okay, of the Holy Bible, right? We're not speaking of those men, right? Because we're not secret. Okay, our faces are out there, right? But we're speaking of the ones that basically some of them, most of them, would be those of our congregation, the flock, the sheep. I'm a sheep to the apostles, you know. And those that chime in on my channel, you know, through the Spirit of Yahweh Shah, you know, they're part of my sheep, my flock. This is why we got to carry ourselves accordingly. And we got to talk the way we walk and walk the way we talk. Okay? But to those secret disciples, first let's go to Hebrews. Let's go to the book of Hebrews real quick. For those secret disciples, these are the ones that are hidden. Okay? These are the ones that hold their households down. You might have wives, you know, children. You know, the Lord gave them a way to make a decent living. Okay? But the Lord also gave them a spirit of knowing this truth, accepting this truth, and repenting. Okay? So, let's go to Hebrews chapter 13. And let's start at verse 2. Matter of fact, we'll do it we'll go ahead and start at verse 1. Let brotherly love continue. You see that? So that's really the first of what I was going to give the meat on. You know what I'm saying? On dealing with this part of the conversation. But since we went there, you know, it says let brotherly love continue. So being part of that 100% ministry before things went down, before things go down, the spirit of brotherly love should be amongst all of us. Okay? Whether we've had disagreements, whether things had happened, as long as you're not going off on doctrine, okay? As long as you're not going off on doctrine, as long as you're not out here living wickedly, but then getting on the mic and acting as though you living accordingly to what you speak, as long as you're not doing those things, then you would still be part of the 100% ministry. But yet it still came from those men out of the apostles out of Great Millstone. Okay? So the brotherly love standpoint comes to the point where, you know, everybody that's human needs to understand that you can be rebuked. You can go off. All right? Now, we coming in a time period where, and which is happening right as we speak, Esau, Edom is bringing his full wrath down, which they speak about in Revelations 12:12. Right? And being part of it, knowing that these brothers are part of the same ministry under the same shepherd, under the same shepherds. Okay? Same doctrine. Right? Same way of moving, same way of speaking. Okay? Then we coming in a time period now where things are going to happen and the Lord's going to shift some things. And a lot of us who, even, matter of fact, through the Spirit of Yahweh Shai real quick, yeah, you're going to have brothers that are going to be, they're probably going to be in other camps. The Lord might make some of us out of the 100% ministry, right? The true doctrine. Okay, we know what it is. We don't care about what these other people say. We don't care about what these other camps be speaking about or talking about. We don't care. The apostles and the elders are going to rebuke them regardless. So it doesn't even matter. Okay, so we really don't even care about that. You know what I mean? But it's going to be some of those, well, a lot of those that are going to be placed in these concentration camps. We just going to be real with you. We're just going to be honest with you. Okay, because the Lord's going to use them, a lot of them, for an example, because they defer from the 100% truth, and or they were led away. You know what I'm saying? And it could be a form of knowingly, because it was meant for their lot to come in. So to what's about to be spoken of, it could be some of those men too that the Lord is going to allow some of the 100% ministry men to be put in these camps for a particular leadership role in a form. Okay? And those men that have been part of other camps, they're going to recognize that you've been listening and you've been going along, you've been in tune, you've been tapped in to the 100% ministry, speaking of coming out from the Apostle Tahar on down. So they're going to automatically recognize that on the way you speak, and definitely by the names you're using consistently, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. You understand? So, but watch this though. Those men could be this. Watch this. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Okay? Now, those men that, let's say you put in that predicament, okay? That you're in a concentration camp, right? And you're amongst a lot of Negroes, Latinos, and natives, right? And it seems as though, because it's rare out here, that you come across a brother or sisters that's part of the 100% ministry. It's rare. So definitely when you go inside, you would feel it and think as though it's rare as well. Okay? But you have to understand this first and accept this, that there is such men and women too that are secret disciples. Okay? That does not have to be on the YouTube. Okay? Giving the message, that wasn't their lot. That's not the way the Lord set it up. And could have been some of those that have been in these other camps. This is why we read in Hebrews 32 that don't be what? Let's read that again. Let's read that again before we go further. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. So okay, now that things are getting built up, and we being part of the 100% ministry, the Lord's putting extra power on us, that we're going to be able to discern particular men, particular spirits. Okay? So we're going to know by the conversation and the way that they're carrying themselves, the way they're moving, that listen, they might know the truth. They might know the Israelites. They might have been, one of them brothers out there that could have been part of them other camps. But we watching how they moving, you know what I'm saying, in the spirit form, but they're moving according to where they're supposed to move from what they've been taught. To the degree of being an Israelite, but at the end of the day, they hadn't gotten the full essence of it because they're not part of the 100% ministry. Simple, right? So you're discerning that, right? But you're knowing that he's different from them boys, the rest of them. Okay? So you're going to be able to discern that to a certain degree. So when he speaks of being, don't be strangers of being don't be careful. There you go. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers. Okay? If that brother conversation coming across correctly, you don't know. You might be behind him in the lunch line. Okay? You never know. You might be behind him in the shower line. Okay? Those that been in the yard before, been out there before. You know what I'm saying? That been locked down before. Okay? You understand that lingo. Okay? You know, child time come. It might be a point where you have to sit at him at the table and he comes sit with you. Right? He break bread. That conversation could spark up. Or it could be a situation where you out there, right? And situation about to go down, but then all of a sudden you got 2, 3, 4, 6 brothers, you know what I'm saying, that know of you, that through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. You didn't even know that they was part of that. And they came out the blue on that. This is what we're speaking about secret disciples, and speaking of you have to entertain certain spirits that you knowing, because you're part of that hopeful elect. You're part of that 100% ministry. You're going to be able to pick up on that. You're going to be given that power. Some of us already have that power, that we can discern the different spirits in people where we're not going to entertain them, but those that we're going to entertain has that flow with it. You see? This is what we speak about on Secret Disciple. This is what we're speaking about brotherly love too. Because the brotherly love is going to come with that. They understand and know that, listen, I might have been in these other camps, but listen how the Lord has set this thing up. This is when your crown comes upon you on a what? A secret mode. Inside of that concentration camp. You knowing deep down that, listen, you out here, you here for a reason. And now the Lord has sent you these brothers, right? You got to go accordingly, and you got to teach them. Listen, you got to build a spirit up. You're not going to take that mark. You're not going to take the chip. You're not going to bow down to this. You're going to wait on the Lord. So when you speak of these secret disciples, they don't always, just because a man knows the truth and understands the truth. Yet listen, that doesn't mean he has to be on the mic. He doesn't have to be out here spreading it like that, because guess what? When that time period comes for them, the spirit going to come upon them. Him and his wife, his children, well, however. Could be out where he's going to have no point but to evangelize on it. Speak on it. Through the Spirit. But that's for that moment. You see? That's our congregation. This is why it's very important that we walk the way we talk and to talk the way we walk. It's simple, man. Matter of fact, let's go to the book of John. Chapter 19. Let's go to verses. Let's read verse 38. This is the book of John, chapter 19 and verse 38. So you'll understand and know there were secret disciples out here. Okay? And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Yahushua, but secretly, you see that? Secretly, for fear of the Jews, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Yahushua, and Pilate gave him leave. He came therefore and took the body of Yahushua. Okay? So listen, the scriptures say, and after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Yahushua. Okay? He was a disciple. You know? But he was one of those low-key brothers that went to work every day, did what they had to do, took care of the household, been a man. Just been a man out here. Be a man out here in the midst of, in your captivity, in this particular regenerated time you in right now, knowing that the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, you was given that power, that gift, right? To understand that when these brothers came out here to teach, preach, and prophesy, the Lord gave that you understood everything that was being said. It resonated in your spirit. So you understood that. So now you understand it to come up out of all those ways, right? And follow the right men of the Lord. and do accordingly. Do what you're supposed to do. You understand? So he was what? He was what? Secret. He was a disciple. Let's read that again. This is beautiful, man. This is so beautiful, especially in the times that we're in right now, man. This is beautiful. And listen to all the knowledge and the messages that the apostles are bringing out at this particular time right now, and the apostles that travel amongst the brothers, right? You know, it's the information, the knowledge that's actually, you know what I'm saying? You know it resonates with you because you know this, but you don't know it. You get what I'm saying? You know it, but you don't know it. It has to be presented back to you. You have to be reborn again. You get what I'm saying? You have to be taught all over. You know it. But when you hear it, it feels so good to understand that it is there, it's dwelling in you, and it sinks in. That you understand how the world turns, man, and how to live accordingly to His will. You see? We in a time period with this brotherly love that we spoke of before. It should be, it need to be, but hey, this is through the Spirit of Yahweh Shai, however He wanted to come. We don't force nothing as a man, you know? But we do understand that at the end of the day, Esau, he don't give a damn. If you screaming Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and you they're knowing that you was brought up under a certain group of men, okay, to understand the teach and preach and prophesy here, that devil don't give a damn. If you acting as though you a fallout or being a so-called fallout, well, however it is being presented out there, the things that happen, okay, however, being excommunicated, all that type of shit, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. We all under the same umbrella. That devil hate us, man, because we got the 100% ministry starting from the apostles of Great Millstone, who was given the 100% truth through the elders that was before them, that were also regenerated back, and were also what? Men of the Lord. And after this is the book of John, chapter 19 and verse 38. And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Yahushua, but secretly for fear of the Jews. Yeah. Man, listen, even Peter had to deny Yahushua. And Yahushua had already told him that he was even going to do that. But guess what? Yahushua forgave him. He's still the right-hand man. Irregardless, man. That's crazy. Because the Lord already knows how this thing is being set up. You see how this thing is being set up. We going in who we are, right? They already got us listed. They got our IP addresses. They know what's going on. We can't hide that thing. We can't move our hand from the plow. You can't do that. You can't stop this. What the Lord already sent you out to do. Look, the Lord gonna kill your ass, man. Any of you brothers out here talking about first of all, if you want to even change the doctrine, because all of a sudden you and your feelings, you and your mood, we understand how you move it, we cool, but at the end of the day, you can't change the doctrine. No matter what has happened. No matter what has happened, man. That means you're not going against the men of the Lord that's out here on earth right now. You're going against Yahweh Shai Yahweh when you change the doctrine. Think about what you're doing and how you're moving, man. You can't be crazy out here, man. You can't be stupid. You can't be unwise. You got to be prudent. And if you're calling yourself a man of the Lord, man, humble down, man. Just humble down, brother. We got to finish the race, man. We got to finish the race. You understand? So he's telling you that he was in fear of the Jews. Our own brothers, our own sisters, our own people, man. The Southern Kingdom mostly. The so-called Negroes, the so-called Haitians, the so-called Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Bahamians. You understand? All them boy they. He was afraid of them boy because what happened? We made a video on that thing there a day ago, a couple of days ago, whatever, you know. Hey, he's one of those guys. Man, them boys was gonna slaughter Peter right there, man. That's how much hatred our people got amongst us, man. I'm a living example of that, and I'm speaking of family members, bro. We ain't gonna sugarcoat that thing, and you damn sure ain't gonna sugarfoot it. You feel me? We ain't playing out here, man. The same way them boys come across us, we come the same way. We just use the book to be our sword. We don't got to be acting all crazy and foolishness out here. We don't even got to entertain you in a way because we already know you're wicked. We're just gonna say what we need to say and move on. Some of us, hey, I'm 46. Well, listen, we're not raising our blood pressure. We understand the curses that a lot of our family members had diabetes. A lot of our family members died of lung cancer, any form of type of cancer. Okay? We understand all of that. We understand the other side of the family, you know what I'm saying? That died of being killed out here. Because they want to be part of the world. We understand all that, man. So we move accordingly. Brotherly love and understand that there's secret disciples out here. And understand that our people really don't like us, especially the ones that's going to take that chip. They're going to take that RFID thing. They're going to take the mark of the beast. That's Revelation 13, man. We ain't playing with them. We understand and we know this. The numbers speak on it in Zechariah chapter 13, 2/3. That's a lot. That's a big number of our people that's going to subdue themselves unto the spiritual mindset of this devil out here. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. The devil that's walking this earth right now, because they want to have. They don't trust in the Lord. They hate the Lord. The spirit of Barabbas is upon them. This is what we're speaking about, of those people that they're not the secret disciples. Those secret disciples are the men and the women that understood that when those men of the Lord came out here against all odds, that gave their body up for a living sacrifice, right? That understood the circumstances, the predicaments you could be putting yourself in, but you being led by the Spirit, man. The Lord guide our steps. The Lord guide your steps as well. That those people that understand and picked up on the Spirit that's upon us, that we're the real men of the Lord, that they're going to guide us, they're going to be shepherds upon us. They understand that they're in their lot, they're the sheep, they're going to listen. But when time comes, we're going to be the aid to those men that are being hunted. Let me say this again. Through the Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, we're going to be the aid of those men that's being hunted. Those secret disciples, man. Those secret disciples we're speaking about. Nobody else, man. Nobody else. Okay? So let's read that one more time before we go further, because I'm going to show you something else before we close out through the Spirit. This is the book of John, chapter 19, verse 38. And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Yahushua, but secretly for fear of the Jews. He was afraid of them, boy, which was nothing wrong with that. And the Lord set it up like that. It wasn't his time to go. It wasn't his time to be persecuted for doing good, because watch this. What did he do? But secretly for the fear of the Jews besought Pilate, okay, that he might take away the body of Yahushua. And Pilate gave him leave. He came therefore and took the body of Yahushua. So hold on a second. That brother might be, the way I'm reading it right now through the Spirit, because this didn't come upon me until just now. Hold on, so he gave him leave. That means, did he work for the Roman Empire? Could I have missed, did I go across this when the apostles taught this? I apologize, yo. But watch this though. He said, oh, read that again. Read that again. All praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. The water. Watch this right here. And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Yahushua, but secretly for the fear of the Jews, besought Pilate, came to Pilate, sought, try to speak to Pilate. Hey, yo, let me holler at you real quick. Watch this. That he might take away the body of Yahushua. Okay. And Pilate gave him leave. So brother worked for the government. So understand this too, the secret disciples. I'm thinking of, I'm thinking of the men of, which this could be part of that too, because the Spirit led me out here to say that as well. So it could be officers, COs, detention officers, that is going to come to our aid in the time of need. Is that? So it's the same thing it was, but with Elijah in the book of Kings, when he ran for his life. But Yahweh told him, Yahweh told him that, listen, I got 7,000 men reserved that have not bowed down, right? That have not kissed by y'all. And that's going to be the same time period with the mark of the beast, and the same time period that we in right now. So the Lord already has this thing set up, because this is what he wrote. This is the scripture. This is his book. And our lives have already been predestined out here. So if some of us that are part of the 100% ministry has to go inside of these places, right? These concentration camps. There's also going to be men of other camps, because the Lord is going to use them because of how they strayed off from the truth. But they're going to grab the elect out of those men as well, that are going to come up under those men, hold on, those certain small men that's going to be led to those, because that's their lot, because they're going to be leaders in there as well. The 100% truth has to be everywhere. And there's going to be those going to be out of the secret disciples if anything goes off. And then you're going to have the COs. You're going to have the detention officers that are also, that the Lord set up, that's going to guide you in there. We have nothing to fear. We have nothing to fear, guys. We just watch this thing play along. Stay in your lot. Do what you're supposed to do. And with that being said, I want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakadash, and until next time, Shalom.